At the age of 4, I witnessed my mother going to prison. Most people don't remember anything from such age, but it's my earliest memory, and I remember it clearly. She was in the living room, and I was in her room watching Pokemon 2000. Suddenly, there was a loud noise, followed by the front door falling in. I watched people with guns rush into our apartment. The first of them stopped at the room I was in, and the rest continued down the hallway. This was the first and only time a gun would be pointed in my direction. The next few minutes were filled with chaos. There was yelling, things crashing to the floor, a myriad of curse words. I helplessly watched as my mother was escorted through our fallen door. Moments later, a CPS worker came and she asked me to follow her to her car. As we walked, we passed by a police car with my mother in it. Tears filled her eyes. I got into the back seat of the social worker's car and was driven to my grandmother's house. I sat by the front door for days, waiting for her to come home, and I didn't know I wouldn't see her again until I was 10. My grandmother felt ill-equipped to take care of us, and so my aunt took us in. But she didn't have the resources to take care of us, but she did what she could. Coming home to no electricity, water, or gas was a regular thing. During those times, we slept in the living room with candles. I remember taking cold showers or boiling water so that we could take a warm bath. At that time, I thought that happened to everybody, but it wasn't until high school that I learned that I was wrong. In school, I had this saying, "You can kick me out of class, but you can't fail me." I was probably the only student on the honor roll with a mountain of conduct referrals. Y'all ain't supposed to laugh. I spent my time cutting up in so many ways, and people began giving up on me. I remember the daycare owner telling me I would end up in prison by 17, and I believed her. My mother was released from prison when I was in the 6th grade. My behavior was expected to improve when she was released, but it didn't. Even though I was constantly getting in trouble, I felt that being in school was better than being at home. Until I graduated high school, I dealt with emotional and psychological stress at home. I made any excuse not to be there. I even used to intentionally miss the bus and wait for the 6 o'clock one to take me home. I didn't find Avid until I was in 8th grade. When I enrolled in the class, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. The only thing I knew was that it required one AP course. I was in 4, so it didn't seem like a big deal. My Avid teacher, Miss Ontiveros, and all the Avid community embraced me with open arms, which was vastly different than I was used to. This was the first time anyone at school showed me that they cared. My Avid tutor, Jonathan Grant Brown, he impacted me greatly and did wonders for my self-esteem. After a few weeks, my conduct improved tremendously. Unfortunately, I had a misunderstanding with a teacher and was sent to alternative school for assault. When I returned, I had been removed from Avid, but that didn't stop me from going to see Miss O or Jonathan. What they didn't know was that I felt like I needed their class. It was the only place that made me feel like I wasn't alone, and it kept my mind off my problems at home. The next year I was back in Avid while my mother was sent back to prison, this time until I was a junior in college. The people in Avid wouldn't allow what happened to break me. My next Avid teacher, Coach Bogard, forced me to set goals for myself despite my belief that I couldn't be anything. She made me pick a college that would later become my dream school and even convinced me to join the school's debate team. By my junior year in high school, teachers' views of me were changing. I didn't get any referrals after 9th grade. I moved 176 places in my class ranking. I was inducted into the National Honor Society. I learned public speak. I learned public speaking skills. Became Odessa's first Dell Scholar. Was accepted in over 10 universities. I graduated with honors. All right. I was also accepted into my dream school, Baylor University. Where I attained my bachelor's degree in accounting. And now, I'm seeking a master's in computer science at Texas A&M of Corpus Christi. Avid was more than a college readiness program to me. It was my therapy, my confidence booster, my escape, and my family. I am very thankful for Avid. Because of the program, I know that there's no limit to the things that I can do. And before I leave here, I'd like to thank the whole Avid community for giving me this opportunity. Last semester, I was afraid to even apply for this. I've been trying to do this for years, but never actually sent anything in, and my mother told me that I would win. Look where I'm at.